The following podcast does contain some mature language. More importantly, it can and will contain spoilers for portions of the main scenario questline and possibly content released in patch 6.1. You have been warned. On with the show. From the many realms of Atheris to the distant reaches of the 1st and the 13th via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 19 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, July 31st of 2022. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and with me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts. But first, I need to introduce him because he's contractually obligated not to say or react to anything before he's been introduced. A craftless rogue and father who has played a lot of Final Fantasy games over the years and has enjoyed Triple Triad far longer than I have, is Jon Jagger, everyone! Hi, Jon, welcome back.
Hello, I can react now. I can acknowledge things, and I'm happy to be here. I am a Final Fantasy expert, having now beaten 7.
And working on number 8 yet again.
Yep, that's how it works. If you beat 7 of them, you can say I'm an expert.
Nice. And of course, as always, we have the Chaos Gremlin who takes adventure portraits very seriously, but feels she is just too damn sweaty to have bangs right now. Hi, Meagan.
Hi. I feel like as global temperatures rise, we will see a precipitous drop in people having bangs.
And I'm ahead of the curve on this one, by the way.
I really like bangs. I think they work nicely on my face, but I live in Los Angeles where it is, as hot as the sun a lot of the time. And I'm just a sweaty person in general. And yeah, it never works out. It's always like, they're always sticking to my face. They're always like, gross. I was meant, my Irish genes were meant to live in like the overcast and cold. I'm not built for this weather.
And, of course, also joining us as a guest for the first time on the show is the former co-host of A Podcast Reborn who won't guess which tweet I'll be referencing to in his intro because I went with a tweet where he wondered which tweet I would be referencing. Hi, Brandon.
I kind of thought that might be the case, but I had bets on other things, so I just lost money. Yay. Also, I am also a sweaty person, which is why I live in Denver. Now, moving on. Did you guys hear about all the botanists and culinarians who were super upset at the start of Endwalker? Yeah, it turns out they thought they were going to get to heal with their sage.
I feel like we heard this one before.
Have I used this one already? I don't remember it.
I really, I want to dig back, but I feel like I heard this one before.
I've got all the jokes I've used on every episode, and if I use this one before, I'm going to be upset.
I'm sure he's made a sage pun before. I don't think it was this exact sage.
Possibly not.
Oh well, I tried.
Hey, there's plenty of time left. Here we are. We are now just a few weeks shy of new content coming our way. There is a live letter that's a couple weeks away, so we already know what we're going to be talking about next episode, more or less. But, Jon, it's been about roughly 6 months since you were last on. A lot's happened. 6.1 happened. We had some new campaign content happen there with the MSQ and all. Some PvP happened. And I know that you kind of have to restrain yourself from how much you talk about Final Fantasy XIV on Core. So if there is anything that you just need to get out there about Final Fantasy XIV, I'm going to give you the floor before any of us else go off on some wild, wacky tangent.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I mean, the reality is I could talk for hours about all the various adventures I've had and been having in the game. I still play it pretty regularly, even though, a lot of the things on my checklist of things to do have been crossed off, although still lingering in the background. And I just even though I like all aspects of it, I just can't bring myself to get into the grind because there's so few grinds in Final Fantasy XIV. It feels like I still need to get, before we get away from it, the I'm just going to call it what it is, the Lich King armor from the PvP. I need it. I need it not for myself. It doesn't fit any of the jobs I play. Like, I'm sure a dancer will look fine in it, but it's not what I'm going to do. But regardless, I need to be able to send a screenshot to Garrett. And that's really the one goal, is just to be like, hey, Garrett, did you see the armor I got? And that's about it. And that's what I need. That's what I need that armor for. And I'm not quite there yet. I think I've got 2 more ranks to go, maybe 3. So I'm close because I have been doing a lot of PvP. As a result, I have a decently high level paladin that I have no idea how to play. I decided to do my job quests on my paladin the other day, and I was like, oh no, I don't know how to play this. Like, I mean, the nice thing is you're not tasked in job quests so severely that it's a huge limitation to not know how to play your class. But I was like, there's just a bunch of buttons down at the bottom that I've unlocked over time, but I've never moved to where it would logically make sense. And I'm just, I don't know. I sure hope my 3 combo will get me through this trial here, and they're not going to need me to do anything more advanced than that. Because it's just not the same abilities. I sit there and I go, why don't I charge the guy? I should charge the guy and then throw up a shield. I know how to play a paladin. All these abilities are gone, but it's a lot of fun. I love playing paladin in PvP. It's great. I haven't done, I think I'm like level 65, 66, something like that. I don't remember, but it's up there. I haven't tanked a single dungeon. And now I'm too afraid to, because now I'm too far in. Like, that's the problem. Is it's like, well, now I'm too far. If I queue for a tank, I'll get a queue, but unless we're running Sastasha, I don't have the tools under my belt because I don't have to do this normally.
Okay,
so
it's not that bad. Just make sure you have tank stance on and just be like, "It's my first time tanking, sorry." And if they're like, "This is a level 60 dungeon, what the hell?" Be like, "You don't pay my sub."
Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's your first time. Where's your sprout icon?" Well, look. The sprout icon doesn't come back if you switch to a new class. Like, maybe it should, but it doesn't. So
that's a good point.
It's an alt job. I leveled it in PvP. Dear God, please have mercy, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And that's the other problem, is I'm getting such good looking gear from doing PvP that I look awesome. Yeah. I get into a match, it's like, wow, that's a serious paladin right there. That's a paladin that knows what they're doing. I don't know what half my buttons do. And also, I haven't learned organically, so I don't know. Push all the mitigation at once. I do know not to do that. But that's what my brain says to do.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I have a red mage and a summoner at max level. I have not leveled any other jobs, and actually for some recent RP reasons, I finally decided what my next job I'm going to level is, and it's Astrologian.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Right.
That's wow. You were like, my life isn't complicated.
You know what I could use? Just so many buttons.
You sounded like me when I was like, yeah, having a kid will be fine.
But at the same time, it's while I definitely want to do that and dive into that, there's a bit of anxiety about, well, not just being the healer for other people and stuff like that, but like being worried about screwing up and stuff like that. And I almost feel like, man, if I had that sprout icon back, I'd feel like at least people will be a little more forgiving if I'm not the best healer in the world when I start.
I would say if you want to dive into healing, that Scholar's probably best, but like you already have it at max because you have Summoner, so people might expect things of you.
Well, it just and for me, it's like the jobs I've chosen for Alex, because I do have alts and I do at some point plan to level different jobs for them that I think make sense. It's just for Alex, for him, along with the other stuff that he does, being big into cards and gambling and stuff, I figured, okay, him choosing the class that naturally involves interaction with cards seems like just a natural extension of the character.
See, I love everything about Astrologian except for the actual playstyle and toolkit. I love the aesthetic. I love the cards. I love the lore. I really hate actually playing it. Although in PvP, it's really fun. I highly recommend.
So, Ro, let me get this straight. Are you telling me you want to level up an entire job strictly to use it for casino RP?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I will say that if you go to most casinos, that almost any dealer has an Astrologian leveled up to do Astrologian things. There are even some games that make use of the Astrologian abilities, like predict which card is going to be drawn, because I guess when certain abilities happen, a random card could appear, so some people place bets on which card shows up or not, and there are games built around that even.
Oh my gosh.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. Speaking of casino RP, as the sidetrack kind of begins here, you may remember, folks, for the past several episodes, that there's been a long saga of me attempting to get a house, failing lottery after lottery after lottery. Well,
kicking me off the show after I made a dad joke about it.
Yeah. By the way, welcome back. You're a co-host again.
Yay!
Because, and the only reason I'm laying him back on is because a week ago, on the day that Alex got married in game, that day when the housing lottery concluded, out of 34 people that participated in the lottery, number 17, which was the number Alex got, was the number that was drawn, and I now have a small house which got turned into the most amazing freaking casino I could hope for.
I need to come in.
Here's the thing. I haven't heard the show in a while, and I had no idea you were so hooked on gambling in this game. This has just been educational. It's like, oh, Rose hooked on gambling, and then it's like, oh, and married. Oh, and I assumed a dowry. I assumed incorrectly, I guess. But then I was like, oh no, won a house. Oh, and turned it into a casino immediately. Like, this is an amazing saga that's occurred.
Oh yeah, over the course of a week, myself along with two other players worked on it. One person worked on the upstairs. I blocked out the general downstairs of, I want this here and this here, this generally here, and this is kind of the rough themes I'm going for. And the third partner in crime on the whole venture, I will just simply put it as a special set of skills to turn some things into some really good looking things. And thus, the Crimson Casino in its full glory has basically come to life. And actually, after recording the show later tonight, I'm going to be opening up for a couple hours to run some games and stuff and let some people check it out. Brandon, shortly before we started recording, has already been in there, and it made his Red Mage heart just swell with joy, I heard.
No, you don't understand. I got on earlier today to just do my friggin' Arca Sodara, Beast Tribe dailies, just to start leveling up some more jobs. And today was the day I finished getting Samurai to max. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I have left that's at 80? I've got Red Mage or I've got Astrologian. I'm going to do Red Mage next because I've already got 2 healers on this guy. And then I thought, wait, you already have 2 casters on this guy? To hell with it, we're going with Red Mage anyway. And then out of nowhere, you whisper me going, hey, here's my house coordinates or number designation. Go check it out before we record. And I'm like, okay. And I walk in, and this place looks amazing, and it's just covered in basically what I would imagine a red mage who opened up a casino looks like. And I just like, well, I fit the theme perfectly. And then I proceeded to take Probably at least a couple dozen screenshots. I just send them all to Ro going, this is great. This is great. Hey, check this out. Hey, look at this.
If anyone listening to the show does want to check it out on Diablos, it's in the Goblet, Ward 12, Plot 33. Feel free to stop by. It's open all the time if you want to just take a look at it for yourself. Very, very, very happy with it. And John, I guess the best way, because it has been a while and I haven't really talked about my character a hell of a lot with you, the best way to describe Alex is imagine a summoner who likes dressing as if he's a red mage. I have red mage level 2, but summoner's pretty much my main. A summoner who dresses like a red mage and is part that and part Setzer from Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yep.
That is basically Alex in a nutshell. Oh, and he looks like Squall Leonhardt, except he cut his hair recently, so he doesn't really look like Squall right now. And now his hair is cut short. But for the longest time, he looked like Squall Leonhardt with glasses.
Yeah.
Accurate and also whatever.
I was gonna go to the house like right now, but then I remembered I don't have the goblet like unlocked.
It's funny, Brandon didn't have it unlocked either.
See, if you were online, then I could just friend teleport to your estate, but you're not, because you're not being a distracted little gremlin like me.
We'll have to fix that later.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I figured out very quickly. Oh, I never bothered to do that on OMF, so guess I'm hoofing it.
I have the only one I have unlocked is the one in Gridania, because that's Tarika's home city state. And while I have a house in the Imperium, it doesn't have a home goods vendor, so I have to run to the Lavender Beds to like buy random furniture items. And I can't remember, but yeah, that was a huge pain. But yeah, that's the only one that I did the little quest and unlocked it. So I was like, oh, I'll log in and I'll just teleport to Eldon, and I'm like, wait, oh, I can't I don't want to run all the way out there. So I just logged out. You
mentioned furnishing, and a small pro tip to people who just get a house. The very first thing you need to get is to put an estate maidservant in your house so that you are never tempted to go to the market board and buy furniture, which is priced like 20 times higher than you can buy it off the NPC for. Just saying.
Yeah, and then when you accidentally buy too much, then you're the one putting them on the market board for 20 times as much. That's
fair.
How it went with me.
That's how the cycle perpetuates itself and continues. John, I saw you mentioned recently that you were getting back into Final Fantasy VIII soon, and playing a lot of Triple Triad and stuff. Would it surprise you to know that I currently have 186 Triple Triad cards?
No, but I'll say this. I don't know if that's a lot.
So right now, I think there's like 350 some odd Triple Triad cards in the game, and I've gone on this Triple Triad frenzy.
It's a good game. It's a really good game.
It is a really good game. I hate when they use special rules like plus and same, though. Those frustrate the hell out of me. I also hate swapping, because when they swap my 5-star card for their 3-star card, it feels terrible. But special rules can be annoying. But it's a solid game. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of in full Pokemon trainer mode. Got to catch them all. And there's a site called arrtripletriad.com, something like that. I have it bookmarked. And it shows you like all the different cards that there are, how to acquire them, which people to fight and stuff, or where to find it as a drop. In order to get a full collection of Triple Triad cards, it's not just about beating every trainer. It's about pretty much playing the whole game. And when I say the whole game, I mean trials. I mean, like progression content and stuff like that. So things that like I could do unrestricted, unsynced, but would still need help because it's still relatively recent. I think there's cards that you can only get as rare drops in Eureka. There's cards that require farming a whole lot of bicolored gemstones for fates. There's cards that you get from, I think there's a card or two you get from PvP. You basically have to play the whole game to collect the entire collection of cards, and I will say it's working. I'm doing
they gotcha, huh?
I'm doing content I did not expect I would be doing for some while, because I was like, yeah, that's nice, but it's not really my thing. But now it's like, but it has that card.
Oh my gosh.
Look, Triple Triad is a powerful master, and I decided. So here's the thing: I'm going to be the bad one now. You talking about Triple Triad cards? I was like, I need to find out how many cards I have, because I have no checkpoint for how many cards I have, how to compare. I still don't know how many cards I have. There's apparently not a thing that just tells you how many you have.
If you go to the lodestone, if you load up your character on the lodestone, you should be able to.
You're telling me I didn't need to log into a video game that took a lot of effort to do quietly? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I love Triple Triad. I have liked it ever since Final Fantasy VIII. Just like in this game, Final Fantasy VIII is chock full of some real BS kind of bonus rules throughout it. But the thing is they never really explained them well to you when you played Final Fantasy VIII. There was nobody that said like, hey, here in this town, we do same. And you're like, oh, like that's all they would tell you. They wouldn't tell you what that was. They're just like, we use a rule called same. And you're like, okay, well, I don't know that rule. They didn't teach me it. And they don't care. They will just take your cards from you. That's the other thing about Final Fantasy VIII. It's hardcore. You lose, they take a card from you. Yes. And they will always take your best one. So I, despite how punishing and rough it was, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun system in there. It was really well done. They tried to bring it back to a degree in Final Fantasy IX with Tetramaster. It is not as good. It's not the same. There's a reason that they did Triple Triad for 14, and that's what they pulled, because it's real good. And so yeah, I like it a lot. I haven't been like a big time card chaser. It's been more of a casual thing that I just kind of go through in the background. But yeah, it is a fun distraction. I love hanging out in the Golden Saucer. Like,
so do I.
Just overall, I think it's one of my favorite places to be. So as a result, when you're there and they say like, hey, we got some cards, you can play a card game, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's do it right away. All right, I think I found my listing here.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to filter owned cards only. Confirm.
Wait,
I have 159 cards.
What is it under?
That's pretty much about the same number I have.
So
Look at my lodestone. I can't find it.
You're just about you're about 25, 26 shy. I know I'm a few cards away from getting Heaven's Ward Y'shtola, because you get her when you get 190 cards.
Oh yeah, that's right. I also always forget to go in and collect those things. But yeah, I have a good time with it. I'm always excited to see cards when they drop or when they're a reward. Whereas, you know, I notice by how easily I win them, it certainly doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. But yeah, I think it's a hell of a mini game within a game. Like, I really appreciate the attention to detail. I think it's genuinely fun. I don't think I'm very good at it. Like, my deck building skills are basically as far as, hey, make a deck for me. Which I appreciate that it exists. So yeah, I have a good time with it. It's one of my favorite like mini game side activities in the game.
Meagan, how far are you in Triple Triad? Did you check?
Well, I'm trying to check, but I can't figure out where my cards are.
So
I see class job, Minions and mounts. I don't see.
I had to do on the, like, once you find your character on the lodestone, here's a tutorial. I'll treat this as content and not a conversation. If you want to know how many cards you have in Triple Triad via the lodestone, you can go to your profile, and up near the top, you'll see a little arrow next to character profile. Click that to see more options. Then you will see Triple Triad listed as one of the many options you can get additional details of. It'll pull up all the cards that are currently in the game, but if you click Filter and Sort Settings, you can display owned cards only and confirm to get your personal total of Triple Triad cards.
It's pretty solid.
Be logged in.
Clip that out, put it in a video.
You do have to be logged in.
Yes.
There we go. That's why I wasn't logged in.
Now you know.
Okay.
Knowing's half the battle.
I'm on my face. Oh my god, this is way more information than the other one was.
Truer words have never been said.
I'm on my face.
All right.
Please
Are you
help
ready for
me.
how many OMF has, Ro? Are you ready?
Sure.
47.
All right.
Oh, Triple Triad. Card list. Filter and setting. Display owned cards only. Oh my god, okay. 356. Oh wait, no, 135.
I was gonna say.
You have the full collection?
Yeah, just real casual brag. I guess I have all of them. I need to
Look, I'm basically a grandma trying to use Facebook when it comes to like random shit that I don't know about. But yeah, 134 on my rating main, which I just constantly get cards from, basically just doing content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really try for it.
So, like, when it comes to getting card drops from alliances and trials and stuff like that, I do not have the best luck, except in one exception. The Readerana Lighthouse. I have gotten the Yasmat card 6 times, and I don't know why I keep winning it.
Just pass on it, man.
Yeah, stop taking it from other people, for one. Like,
Jerk.
I don't be the person. There's another podcast somewhere that's like a Realm Asunder or something, and they're just like sad all the time, and they're like, all I want is the Yasmat card.
And some jerk keeps on rolling on it, though he already has it.
Every time I'm in there, somebody takes it from me, and I feel like I'm running with the same person, but every time they just take it from me.
Yeah,
First it was Alexander Rowe, and then it's someone named Alexander Shimizu. What's going on with the Alexanders?
If you look in the like loot panel, you can see if you have it or not. It'll have a little check mark next to it, and you can just pass on it. Raw.
Yeah, I just half the time I forget that, like, oh yeah, that's I don't need that card, and I just kind of greed on reflex.
I always check on minions and cards because I feel bad if I take it and I can't use it.
Like, he runs a casino. Is anybody surprised he greeds on reflex?
That's a good point.
Oh my god. I already told the story of how he stole all my money.
Yeah.
Stole, or did you wager it?
Well, I wagered it, but still.
But at least
he made it very exciting. He made it very appealing. I was clearly taken advantage of. I got FOMO and I bet all the money that I won and I lost it. And it was the worst hand he'd ever seen, so
Okay, when in poker you get a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I have really good luck with raffles and nothing else. Hence why I got a house on the first try. But yeah, I'm gonna check out how your casino looks. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. Like, I don't even have much gold right now. I spent a shit ton of it because I got Reaper up to max and I bought gear for it.
You know what I find funny though?
What?
You and I constantly say gold still.
Oh,
instead of guild.
It literally is like a little gold coin. God damn it!
Yeah, I mean, Gil is golden in color.
True.
You know, we're describing the thing.
Hey, given what I've been playing lately, y'all should be surprised I'm not saying credits.
Credits, ironically, also made of gold.
Are they? I have no idea.
No, it's just a weird fact that not a lot of people know. Now they know.
Credits in the Old Republic are made out of gold?
Yep, you think it's a digital currency because it's the future.
Yeah.
It's not, it's just gold.
Oh.
Clip it and put it in a video.
The more you know.
Are we titling the episode "Clip It and Put It in a Video" now?
Probably.
Okay, just checking.
Speaking of which, I do want to give like a quick shout out because John, you had mentioned a certain Garrett from earlier. There are people who are listening who may wonder who's this Garrett person he's talking about. Do a favor for yourself and go on YouTube and do a search for Grinding Gear. It is a magnificent Final Fantasy XIV YouTube series with Garrett Windsor and Kyle Ferguson. They just started a Grinding Gear podcast as well, but it has been a real joy just watching them take the trip from A Realm Reborn, slowly making their way from one expansion to another. I think they are in post Stormblood content right now, and hearing them talk about their experience, it's really cool. Just kind of reliving some of that through them.
Oh man,
They haven't made it to Shadowbringers yet.
I think they're
No,
about
gonna
to start soon.
Well, about to,
Yeah.
but I will say they are wanting to get a very full experience of Shadowbringers offerings. They're doing it the right way. They're going through all the raids, all the alliance raids, all the trials.
I'm just excited that pretty soon we're going to be seeing a lot of tears.
Where
My
I have told them a couple things that I'm like, yeah, I don't think you should do that, but they're doing it anyway. They are not committing to the entire thing, but the thing I keep coming back to is they're like, we're gonna check out Eureka. I'm like,
Oh dear
Oh
God.
no!
Nobody wants to watch you do Eureka, you guys. They're like,
No!
we're gonna do it.
God, I'm getting flashbacks. And I didn't even do it that much. Like, Ward was really into Eureka. And so every now and then I'd be like, what do you want to do? He'd be like, want to go to Eureka? And I was like, no. Yes. That was my life for however long that was going on. Good Lord. Eureka's where Pazuzu was, right? I still have the Pazuzu shrine in my house.
Yes.
And I pray to it occasionally.
Meagan, I have a question for you. And I'm surprised that we've gone a half an hour into this podcast without talking about, because Brandon and I were wondering how long it would take for you to talk about. So I'm just going to make you talk about from the start now.
Okay.
So the key art for patch 6.2 is out.
The sexy dad.
It's freaking old Solid Snake.
Oh my god, you don't even want to know what has been being posted on the friggin' Twitter art circles I follow. Oh my
I
god.
really don't.
Everybody's like, new sexy daddy dropped. I'm like, oh boy. Here we go. Like, we know nothing. We don't know his name. Everybody's assuming it's La Habrea. We don't know.
And I mean,
We
he's
don't know.
holding a red mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's literally holding his mask.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's not official, but everybody has decided that's La Habrea, and he's the sexy man, and they're drawing him like there's like there's a big overlap between people who think vampires are sexy and people who like daddies. So the fact that there is the daddy vampire and another sexy daddy, you can imagine what's happening.
I'm more intrigued by who the insane upside down person on that key art is.
Oh, that's I got Reaper to max level. I've been doing a lot of Reaper PvP, which is really fun, by the way. And I bought the crystal portrait thing, and the Reaper pose for that is like they jump in the air and go like ah, and then like swing their scythe around a little, and it's like really hard to pose that in like a still image without it looking really stupid. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn that shit straight upside down. I put like a scared face on it because when I first did it, I was wearing the Allegan gear, so it's like skin tight, and she like jumps in there and goes and basically shoves her crotch right in the camera, and I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. That's probably illegal. I'm not risking that. So I had to. For a little while, I had her like reaching into the camera like her, and I was like, no, I'm not a serious person. But yeah, I got Reaper to endgame, and I'm switching from Machinist to Reaper, which means I'm going from like suboptimal to the most sweaty I could possibly be, and I'm enjoying myself immensely. Like, usually I don't like melee jobs, but Reaper has enough mobility, and it only has like 2 abilities that need positionals, and then you don't do them like super often. It's not like a core part of the rotation. So
and it just looks visually satisfying to play. I mean, I've just watched gameplay of it, and it just looks good.
It absolutely is. I have to restrain myself from yelling Communio into the open mic every time I hit the ability. And half the time I fail, I'm restraining myself.
It feels really good. It's really fun. I don't know how to describe it. It's like the game feel like it feels really smooth. Like,
yeah, it's a very smooth job, and it like the animations and the sound effects associated with the abilities they feel chunky and they feel really good to hit. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, it definitely sets off the good goblin goo in my brain.
We already titled an episode.
That has already been an episode title.
So I haven't raided with the team that I usually raid with yet, but I have done a few pugs, and I've been having fun, and I've been really enjoying PvP. I finally got the spooky armor, which is great for Reaper.
Nice.
Like I literally just got that like yesterday.
The Bolvar 4 Dragon set?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The Lich, the Mitch King.
The Mitch King?
I could have said the Mitch King, but I don't know. I thought that was a little, but then I'm like, wait, I'm allowed to swear. I'm an adult.
Yeah. There is no language filter on this podcast. It's fine.
I thought we were throwing shade at Mitch's at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just going, what?
I don't remember. I don't think I know any Mitches, so there you go.
I only know
okay.
one.
Really?
I used to know one. He was in the band with him. I was in a band with him, rather.
So I've just been having a spooky time and really enjoying it, which is funny because I'm also planning to, me and Ward made some potatoes that we're leveling, and I'm planning to eventually make her a Reaper. So I'm just going to be Reaper everywhere.
Hey, hang on. Don't you already have a potato that's a Reaper?
Yes, but she's not on Diablos.
Oh, for God's sake.
Also, she has like the most tragic backstory I've thought of yet.
Oh my! I feel like your pursuit in life is to come up with an even more intense tragic backstory to top your previous alt's tragic backstory.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
definitely.
So are you going to share with the class?
Oh my gosh! Now I'm on the spot. Okay, so I have my current main, who is she's from Thavnair. She was there for the final days, and now she's just trying to live her life in Ishgard. You know, that's pretty. She lost her family. That's pretty tragic. And then, so for my potato, I have a really long and involved backstory. If you're sure you want to hear it.
We've got about 20 minutes.
Basically, when she was a little kid, her parents were miners, and they went to Alamigo to like do mining business. But then the Empire invaded and took over, and like made her parents work in the salt mines and sent her to like a Garlean orphanage like / boot training camp where she became like a Garlean conscript. And then she ended up eventually in Boja, where she was working under like one of the Garleans that's like, hey, you know what, foreigners, they're pretty cool. Merit is the only thing that matters. But then, of course, they all got their asses kicked, and her like leader guy died. So she was like, what do I do now? I was only living to see his dreams come true. And then she comes back to Ul'dah, and then she meets the Lumieres, who are ex-Garlean, and so she's like, hey, I'll hang out with these guys, and so then she becomes a Reaper.
So you're basically a potato Reaper that is evoking the soul of Livia.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But Livia has issues.
Well, apparently
So
this
does
is
my potato. She's a spooky potato. But there's something
potatoes.
there's something amazing about being a Reaper potato. Like, they're so freaking cute. The thing is, like, when I'm playing how I'm leveling her right now is I'm going Warrior until I hit Heaven's Ward, and then I'm gonna go Dark Knight, and then I'm gonna go Reaper. Reaper's like her in character class, but I'm basically being like darkness, like all the way up. Like
slowly getting more edgelord as time goes on.
Yeah. It's like I just want her to, be like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. I've done things.
Oh, okay.
When her potato goes to a concert, she may buy the whole seat, but she only needs the edge.
I believe everybody, you play Final Fantasy long enough and eventually you make a Lalafell. I think that's just, eventually you get there. Nobody comes in. I mean, some people do. Very few people come in and go, you know what, Lalafell, I wasn't going to buy this game. I wasn't going to play it, but I saw Lalafell and now I'm going to play it. I don't think that that's the journey a lot of people take. But what journey people do take is they go, you know what, I've been playing this game a while. What if I made myself as a little potato person?
Yeah.
Because I have to admit, I'm doing it as well. I have a character. I don't know if I'm going to stream it. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. But I have a character named John Spudbud, and
okay.
And he's basically here. Here's what I'll do, Ro. I'm going to send you a picture of him.
Okay.
So that you can just see what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
Basically, if I was not so obsessed with having lore accurate names, I would have named mine Tater Thought.
You did bring that up once.
I have to do the lore names. I can't help it. And also, it's like they have such specific rules for all of the different races
really
and even the clans. And I'm like, but I gotta do the thing. So my super dark Reaper is Baberry Berry.
Hey, look,
that's pretty good. I'm seeing the picture.
I appreciate somebody whose name doesn't necessarily match where they went. Like, it's so back in the day, a lot of us played WoW. I believe people understand this. It always used to bug me when people were like, well, my Worgen's human name was David Greywolf. And it's like, I hate when names are like prophecies for the direction their life is gonna head. I hate it so much. It bugs me. Like, if they change their name, that's one thing. Okay, they turned into a wolf and they were like, I'm now Wolfie Claw. Like, they decided that. But I hate when it's a prophetic name. So, because obviously at some point you had somebody that was called like Teddy Nose Beans, and he turned to evil. Anybody can turn to evil, even Teddy.
With a name like Nose Beans, of course.
Yeah, he's probably picked on and, put him on the path of darkness. So I just, we gotta balance it out is all I'm saying.
Oh man.
The dark saga of Teddy Nose Beans.
Good lord.
That's a good title too.
And WoW, I always assumed that like your username was like your code name, like your nickname. I never thought that would be like your actual name, considering there were also just so many stupid ass names. I remember my favorite one that I had was I had a Tauren Death Knight that I named Expired Steak.
Yeah.
I used to RP on WoW too, though, man. like a lot. They did not support it at all. And there's like no instanced areas. There's no housing. And so it could get awkward as hell, which is also why like everybody assumes that RPers in WoW are like perverts, because the perverts are always just RPing out in the open in Goldshire because there's no private housing.
Right. If you don't give them private rooms, of course they're going to just go do it in public.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the people in Final Fantasy XIV are just a handful of weeks away from getting a whole island to do it on.
Yeah! Husbando Island. Waifu Island. Ah, I'm so excited. I'm going to have all of my pets, all of my minions of all of my waifus and husbandos roaming free.
You know, it's interesting for me because like a couple weeks ago, before I realized, before I won the house, I had a whole lot of hopes and wishes that the Island Sanctuary would be able to fulfill some of those things that I was missing in not having a player house. Now that I have a player house and I've got it decorated and I want to do what I want to do with it, now I have like zero expectations for Island Sanctuary. It's like, hey, whatever you put in there, you put in there. And I realize I am speaking from a unique position, and I'm speaking now from a minority compared to most players. But it's weird that just my whole... The whole way I'm approaching and anticipating Island Sanctuaries is radically different now.
House privilege, high five.
Right? Yeah.
I have 2 houses, now 3 houses.
Yeah.
Because we got a house for Butterscotch Brigade, which I still haven't decorated personally.
You are going to get us so much hate mail. Stop it.
Look, nobody wants small free company houses. It was super easy to get.
Hey, I got a small house and I'm happy with it. But yeah, small free company houses are easy to get.
We kept trying to get a medium, we couldn't go in, so we were like, well,
a small free company house doesn't get access to like a company workshop, right?
No, yeah, you do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a separate room. It's like a little separate instance that you access out the back.
Gotcha.
It's I mean, you've seen the door, you know.
I've seen the door, but the only time I've accessed that door is like for going to like other people's rooms and stuff like that. And I thought that only mediums and larges have that access for FCs.
No, every free company has free company rooms.
Oh, okay.
That'd be kind of shitty if they didn't. Be like, you're one of the free company.
Oh, I just
you don't want to pay for a medium house, then get out. You don't really get a submarine.
It's a peasant company.
I just figured that's why people didn't go after small houses for FCs, because I thought small houses didn't have all the features that medium and larges do for FCs. So
no, they just want bigger fancier. The medium ones are really nice because you get the upstairs. And the large ones have the huge ass balconies and like everything. But, you know, small's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not like we're doing a bunch of stuff with it anyway.
Brandon, you haven't talked a whole lot about what you've been up to, but I imagine from the sounds of it, you've still been mostly in the Old Republic while waiting for 6.2?
Unfortunately, yeah. I even got out of the habit of logging in every day to do my, Elephant People Beast Tribe dailies just to level up. I should have been 90 on Samurai probably a week ago at this point if I'd actually been paying attention, but I haven't been. But yeah, still going through with the 2-month worth of sub I purchased and just trying to get through all the story content over in Old Republic that I haven't had a chance to touch in the past couple of years. And, making outfits, because that's what I do in MMOs now. I play dress up, apparently.
Look, it's the right way to play. I've been saying this for years, that hey, you want to find a fun way to play an MMO, get obsessed with the outfit game. It's the best way.
So in The Sims 4, a new expansion just came out, and it's called High School Years. And in it, you get to go thrift shopping and make outfits, and then the other Sims can buy them from you. And it's really fun, but it's buggy as hell. And it turns out they only had 6 quality testers, and we're finding out all of this fucking shit. And I already bought it, and I'm like, EA, why?
I saw that news story today. They accidentally allowed incest, and everybody's aging too quickly.
Oh my god!
What is
Luckily, I avoided the aging bug, but I have the bug where random people are like world famous celebrities. So, like the lunch lady at the school cafeteria is a world famous celebrity, and I can't talk to her to get my lunch. She's too famous. Like, Sims try to talk to her, and they just like scream and pass out, and I'm like, oh no, oh god.
So, speaking of 6.2, I have a question for each of you here. Meagan, I want to start with you.
Fine.
How do you feel about all your adventure plates and portraits being reset?
I'm fine with it.
Really?
I mean,
okay.
I have fun making them. I don't think that they're that hard to recreate.
Yeah.
Like, some of them, I guess, are a little bit finicky, but like, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Okay. I mean that's a lot of work you're going to be losing. So I didn't know how you were taking this news.
I literally go through and redo them like twice a week, like every time I'm about to do a big bout of PvP. So
for you and I, it may seem like a lot of work. For her, it's just Tuesday.
Fair enough. Entirely fair enough. John, next question is for you.
Okay.
As a fellow glamour / transmog / whatever the heck you want to call it enthusiast, what was your reaction to learning that the glamour dresser capacity is being doubled from 4 to 800?
Oh my gosh, this was like the best news. Like, I know I'm gonna still fill it immediately because I imagine I'm gonna be like, look at all that space. I can get the stuff off my retainers and put it in there. And then, oops, it's full. But you know what? Like, hey, it'll be oops, it's full with a lot more stuff in it than it did before, and I think that that's good. I mean, we all would absolutely kill to have WoW's transmog system.
Of course,
we absolutely would. Like, if they went to Final Fantasy fans and they were like, you can have it, but you have to commit one murder. Like, it'd be a lot.
Who do I have
to
kill?
Who is it?
The population would dwindle very quickly because they would do it in a heartbeat. So yeah, but I'm excited about it. Like, to me, that was a lot of really good notes. That was the note that I was just like, oh my gosh,
I really
it's beautiful.
think that they should that anything you pay actual money for should go in the armoire and not in the glamour chest.
Agreed.
Yes.
Because there's and even like on my main, I've had my thing full for like a year, and like I'm constantly like, well, I haven't worn this in a while. I guess I'll take it out and give it to my retainer. And now my retainers are full, and so I'm like looking at the store stuff, and I'm like, even if I buy this, I don't have room for it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think I got lucky for a while because the stuff I bought on the shop, everything was able to go into the armoire at first. And I was like, oh, this is nice. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, that's good. And then I bought an outfit that couldn't, and I just stared at the computer for a long time. And I was like, well, surely this is weird. This must be why this outfit isn't popular. And then I bought another one, and it was the same way. And I was like, oh no, what's happened?
I can tell you. It's they only put like event items in the armoire. So like anything that was previously something you could get from a holiday, that'll go in the armoire. But like anything that's just that fancy and you can't get it anywhere but the store, then that goes in your glamour chest, which is kind of obnoxious. And also it's like, but why holiday stuff? Why not like gear sets? Why not like, oh, here's your class gear. This should all go in the armoire.
Well, yeah, they set up the expectation that that's how it would work because that's what happens with the first one. Yeah, exactly. You get it and you're like, oh, nice. They gave me this armor and it goes in this thing. That's great. And then you get to the second one, you go, well, surely someone's made a mistake. the last one went in this convenient location that didn't use up any of the space that I need. Like, surely this should go in there too. And nope, it doesn't. And it's a little surprising.
There's just no consistency with the rules as to
the quality
what goes in there versus what doesn't.
The quality of life change I'd like to see with Glamour and FF14, besides from just take WoW's transmog system, but I would love to let retainers access Glamour plates.
Oh yes, I would like that a lot too. Like, I really hate having to like take their gear off and then go
Yes,
and get it
that
back.
is so annoying.
I'm not a fan of it. I need my my sexy bunny boys and catboy retainers to be dressed nicely at all times.
Of course. All right, last question. This one is obviously for you, Ro. How's your Hildebrand progress coming?
You know what? Not well at all, but that's okay because apparently the Hildebrand stuff doesn't even really start up till 6.25. So even if I'm not ready by August 23rd, which many believe to be the day that 6.2 will launch, I've still got some time.
I just finished. I like literally a day or two ago. I just got current with Hildebrand.
Nice.
It was good. I love it. It's such wacky fun.
Like every time me and Ward are logging on, he's like, "So you want to do Hildebrand?" And I'm like, "Not now."
Too much anime bullshit.
You were the one person who I thought would love Hildebrand out of all the three of us.
I haven't started it, and maybe I will love it. I don't know. All I know is I have a tolerance level for anime nonsense, and most days that threshold has already been reached by the other anime nonsense that I watch.
Oh my gosh.
I like that it's not a static level. It's every day I can fill this cup with this much anime. And if the cup is full, we're putting nothing else in.
Indeed. It's not just anime, it's anime nonsense, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. It's full of it. but I love it because it made me appreciate the restraint that they use in this game. Like getting to see how they are when somebody's like, no, you can do whatever you want, makes me really appreciate like the craft. You know, like it's like if you knew somebody like, okay, let's say you finally meet and somehow become friends with Tom Hanks. And you discover that he's the most angry individual you've ever met. That's disappointing. But it also, you kind of have to admire, like, wow, he really reins it in, like, all the time. Look at how good he is at reining this in. And that's what the Hildebrand quest did for me. I was like, wow, look, this is what they want to do.
Oh my God.
Look at how much they hold back all the time. I'm never going to judge weird anime stuff in this game ever again. Because let me tell you, there's a place they put that, and they go all out for it.
Yeah, that
so John,
the Ninja Quest.
So, John, as someone else on this show who has done the Hildebrand quest line to current,
yeah,
I have a two-part question for you and related to that. Since you know the Manderville quest line is going to be tied to the Relic Weapon quest line in this expansion.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are that a Dark Knight weapon is going to be a giant frying pan, and how happy will you be if that's the case?
I mean, as somebody who doesn't have a Dark Knight, so doesn't get bothered if they make my weapon stupid, like, very on, like, that's great.
We've got grammar, goddammit. Make it as stupid as you want.
Yeah, go all out. I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, I like it. I know it's been a controversial thing because I know, like, Manderville has always been something that everyone will tell you should do. But then everybody is like, well, but it's also not for everybody. But honestly, I think anybody who gets mad about Manderville being mandatory, I think is a bad Final Fantasy fan. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think any fandom, bring it. If you think I'm wrong with what I'm about to say, absolutely send me emails, tweet me. I welcome it all because you're a hypocrite. I don't think any fandom that bases their love of a video game where they have to tell their friends to get into it. Okay, ARR is boring. You just have to get through about 200 hours of gameplay and then it gets good. Have any right to complain that they had to do a couple little quests before they got their big weapon at the end. Like, your entire game is based around the premise of, yeah, there's some stuff you got to get through that isn't great, but then it gets good. It's the name of the game. Deal with it.
And I've heard that, like, if you do Hildebrand from start to finish, it's like anywhere from 4 to 6 hours.
It's not long. And like, especially if you're not into it, guess what? Skip. Do that thing that is so dark and devious for other people to do, and just skip it and do your jaunty little turn-ins. Like it's fine.
Honestly, the longest parts.
I'm not thrilled about doing Hildebrand, but I would way rather do this than have another Eureka. 1,000 times. Oh my god. Please, no, not another zone of me gathering shiny poop shards. Please, no. I'm done. I got out.
I have 2 questions for Jon before we kind of wrap up here, because we've got about 15, 20 minutes left. Take them in any order you want. The first one is, how excited are you for Criterion Dungeons? And the second one is, who do you think is the trial fight that they are not talking about?
Oh, I hadn't thought about either one of these things. Criterion Dungeons, those are the the mythic equivalents, right? Just to use.
Not necessarily. Well, there's a hard mode.
I don't remember what it was. There's
it.
There's a normal one, and then there's a hard one, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the normal one called something different, and Criterion's the harder version, or is it the other way around?
The normal is Criterion, I think.
No, it's Variant.
Oh, Variant is normal. Right.
Criterions are the hard mode.
I meant Variant. I didn't mean. I'm specifically talking about the Variant stuff, not the hard mode stuff.
Okay, well then in that case, I'm very excited for him. The most refreshing thing about Final Fantasy for me, hands down, is that when it becomes patch time, and I look down the list of things that is coming in a patch, the amount of things I'm excited about in a Final Fantasy patch is a huge amount. Going back to, we'll just say, other MMOs, when I would look at the patch notes, it was okay, here's what we're doing with this type of dungeon. Keeping it very hidden what I'm talking about. Here's what we're doing with this type of dungeon. I was don't care, don't run them. Here's what we're doing with this raid. Don't care, don't do it. Here's what we're doing with PvP. Don't care, don't do it. And it would just be this list of things, and then you get down to one little note at the bottom, mostly hidden and ignored, and it's oh, there's the thing I care about. Okay, it exists. Whereas I look at, so I just pulled up the 6.2 thing. New main scenario quest, in. New high-end raid, Pandemonium Abyssos, in. Island Sanctuary, in. New dungeon, in. New trial, in. First variant dungeon, in. First Criterion dungeon, I don't know. That might be the first one where I'm I don't know. New Unreal trial, probably not. Main scenario revisions, I guess I'm excited about that. Tataru's Grand Endeavor, in. Somehow further Hildebrand adventures, totally in. That ended on such a fun, weird ending. I loved it. New weapon enhancement quests, in. New tribe quests. I think they're a crafting tribe, right?
The Gathering.
This one's going to be the Omicrons. And
they're gathering. Yep. Well, I might be in when I start gathering. I'm not there yet. Adventure plates update, in. New elegant tomestones, great. It's a great system, love it. New crafting recipes. I'm not crafting yet, but I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't done it yet. New mounts, minions, and emotes. This is the stuff where even in other games I'd be okay, there, they got me at the end. And new fashion accessories, in. So most of this patch I'm excited for, and it's so rare that I get to see a patch and go, oh man, I'm excited about almost everything on here. And even the list of things that I'm not excited about, it's just because it's a part of the game that I'm not interacting with yet. Whereas the other one, I've made up my mind. I know I'm not going to run Mythic Dungeons. I don't care. I don't want to care. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to do it. This case, it's I don't craft, but that's only because I haven't invested the time into it. It's not because I have some objection to it as content or anything. And it's really welcoming to feel that way. So, I'm excited to see what they are. Back to your question. I'm excited to see what they are. I think it's a cool idea. I think that's a cool space to explore. Because certainly, the underground of Ul'dah was a very prominent thing to the end of ARR that we never really go back to, we never really revisit or think about. And I think that's a really cool place to go and experience something. So I'm all for it. And I don't remember what your second question.
Who do you think is the trial for 6.2?
Okay, well, I cut someone off, so I'm going to think about that. I think it was Brandon. And I was just going to say,
it's amazing how little plot threads that would just be randomly discarded in quote other MMOs end quote end up coming back to be explored in some other random system. Nobody ever really thinks about that. Like, yeah, there's a whole thing with Ul'Dah's past and their history with their quote unquote sister city, and it's just background information. Nobody really talks about it. It's not any part of the main story. And hey, we're apparently going to explore at least part of what's going on with that in the variant and/or criterion dungeon system. It's fantastic. I love that about this game.
Absolutely,
indeed.
Quick prediction. While John's still thinking, quick predictions from Brandon. Okay. Oh wait, you got one?
I do.
Okay,
it's going to be Golbez.
Now you see, you're close to my prediction.
That's what I'm going to
say. I don't think it's going to be Golbez yet. I think we'll fight Golbez eventually, or he may end up being a good guy because that Golbez. If you played Final Fantasy IV, I think we're.
Oh, that's why I don't know.
I think we're going to fight his Shadow Dragon, and I think the Shadow Dragon is going to be significant as far as Vritra goes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's a good prediction. That's smart. Yeah. You gave that more thought than I did.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern is I almost think they're going to address that particular element in the MSQ and not in the trial series.
No, you see, that's the thing, though. I think that they're going outside the box, whereas normally with trials and stuff like that, I think that all bets are off on how they decide to do things. I think that the 6.2 trial will be that. I think the trial series is going to be the Four Fiends. I think that the MSQ trial in 6.2 is going to be the Shadow Dragon.
Because normally in the post expansion quests, we don't get a new MSQ trial until 0.3.
I know.
But you're right. They did say all bets are off with how the content is structured going forward. So if they move that up a bit, you could be right.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought when I saw this bullet point that they're like, oh, hey, the first part of the trial series is coming out in 0.2. Great. I bet it's going to have something to do with the Four Fiends, just like Road said.
No, I
never occurred to me that they might move the trial, like the MSQ trial, up a bit.
I think the big reason they're keeping it such a secret is because I think they're going to surprise people with, oh, by the way, the trial is the MSQ trial. It's happening now.
Yeah, it could be. I think the Shadow Dragon's really cool, especially because you can see like a natural progression of you go Shadow Dragon, Golbez, Zeromus, or however you say his name.
Yeah.
Zemus. I call him Zeromus because
reasons.
I don't know. That's what I thought it was called.
It's both. Well, it's
okay.
Zemus.
It becomes Zeromus?
It's first it's Zemus, and Zeromus is like Super Saiyan Zemus, basically.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm not sure they're going to use Zemus because it sounds a little too close to Xenos.
Well, what I think that it's going to be revealed that Zemus was why can't I think Xenos?
Xenos' avatar.
Avatar, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. All right. Quick predictions from
my mind, John. Thanks.
Quick predictions from Brandon.
Thank you. I thought about it for a couple minutes just now and looked at a Final Fantasy IV Wikipedia. So, I'm pretty much an expert, just like at Final Fantasy.
Beautiful.
Brandon, Meagan, quick predictions on the identity of the trial before we wrap up here.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Brain is on Shadow Dragon now. I'm with you.
I have not played Final Fantasy IV.
I haven't either, but I've read enough about it to be like completely on board with this prediction.
I was a PlayStation baby, okay?
I'm actually, one thing I'm planning to do like in the next week or two ahead of 6.2 is play Final Fantasy IV again, because I'm kind of stoked about this stuff coming up.
Oh yeah.
Pretty hyped.
Is it on Steam?
Yes.
It is. It's part of the Pixel Remaster package. You can also buy it in other ways, and the Pixel Remasters are actually fantastic. I highly recommend them to anybody who wants to get back in on the older stuff. It will blow your mind how much stuff in 14 pays homage to early Final Fantasy games.
I just have such a I don't officially have ADD, but I'm pretty sure I have ADD, and I have a hard time reading a lot.
Well, the good news is, it is, I would say it is less reading in general than 14 is.
Yes.
And for people that don't have the patience they did when they were a kid, which I definitely do not, they all utilize a very well executed fast forward feature where when you're in combat, especially when you are now stronger than whatever you're fighting, you press a button and your characters will just redo whatever the last command you told them to do was, and you fast forward through combat at a very quick speed. You can stop it whenever you want if you want to change strategy. It's not like you're locked into it. But at a point where you're like, no, my party's super powerful, I don't want to deal with these random encounters, or I just want to grind and level up. You don't have to think about it. You get in a fight, you press a button, they die very quickly, you move on to the next fight. Like it's very fast and it's very effective. So I would say this is the best way to experience those games if you have any interest.
Just be careful with that, because I didn't have the controls down very well when I started playing the Final Fantasy VI remaster, and I accidentally turned on that feature when fighting one of the opening fights in that game, which has a mechanic of when it's inside the shell, don't hit it, get damage.
Yes.
And I wiped on that fight my first time trying to play it.
What you get for assuming you could auto battle a boss.
No, you don't understand. I didn't realize I turned auto battle on. I did not have the controls down well.
I wonder if I could get that on the Switch. That sounds like a lay in bed and play game. And speaking of the Switch, have either of you guys played Three Houses yet?
No. I will.
Come on.
When I have time, I just, between work and doing all the other stuff I've been doing in 14, I've just had zero time.
All right. But remember the plan is Ro has to do Golden Deer and Brandon has to do Black Eagle, and then we'll have the Three Houses Throwdown.
Sounds good. Jon, thank you so much for being on tonight. It's or this week, whatever. It's this week tonight. Whatever. I'm John Oliver.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here for this episode. It's always a pleasure to have you on here, and definitely want to have you back on again in the future, because you just enjoy and love this game so much, and it's a big reason why I came back to the game, and so I owe quite a bit to you.
Oh, thank you. I do love this game. I spent years saying that other games should be more like this game because I hadn't played this game yet. And then I played it and I was like, oh, somebody did all the things I said I really needed to do. And so I'm happy. Like, it's just it's nice to get to play something for fun, and I have a lot of fun with it. And it's also a game that I can take breaks on. I can play the pantheon of Final Fantasy games that came before it to gain a greater appreciation for it, which is what I have been doing. So I really enjoy it, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. How can people find you and get connected to those playthroughs and all that good stuff and your podcasts?
Best place to follow me is on Twitter. I'm at Jon, Jon _Jagger. And then you can also check out any of the podcasts I'm on. I do a general video game show called Core. And you can find out more about that at frogpants.com. I can't remember the exact website. It's probably /core. But I don't know that, so just go to frogpants.com. That's where all the other podcasts I do are, actually, because I also do a D&D show called There Will Be Dungeons, where we play D&D and we record it. And yeah, if you want to catch my stream, though, and watch me play through these games, I stream generally every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And you can do that at twitch.tv/craftlessrogue. And the archive for all of that is on YouTube. Also, Craftless Rogue there. So check it out.
Awesome. Meagan, how can
Are you sure it's not Caftless Rogue?
It's sometimes Craftless, but now it's officially Craftless. I changed the name not at 3 a.m, and I was able to type successfully.
Sorry, I know that was rough for you to get through, but I had to bring it up.
It was a rough period of time. Look, don't do important stuff at 3 a.m. This is good life advice.
I will disregard that entirely.
She will.
Meagan, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CatMomMeagan, all one word, and it's Meagan. There you can get links to my Tumblr, you can see my art, you can see pictures of my cat Butterscotch, and links to my webtoon, and links to commission me to draw your sexy bunny boy or girl. Or cat people, I'm good at that too. That's my thing.
And Brandon, how about you?
Twitter.com/thebmat, THEBMATT. There's a link aggregator there in my profile that'll take you to everything I've got going on, my writing pages, my other podcast, +5 to Hit, where we are taking a break from Rogue murdering me all the dang time to go back to school, because why not?
Strixhaven is fun.
Yeah, Strixhaven is a blast. We're having a great time with it. New episode just dropped a couple days ago, and please check it out. It's some good times.
Indeed. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter at Podcaster Row. That's Podcaster RHO. You can find this show on Twitter at A Podcast Reborn. You can email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com. Reminder that we are a part of Bonus Roll Productions that recently got announced last episode. We're still part of it. You can go to bonusroll.gg, check out the podcast directory there, which has expanded to cover not just Blizzard stuff, but other games, other MMOs as well. There's an Elder Scrolls Online podcast on there, an Overwatch podcast. There's a Hearthstone podcast, which I'm involved in there. A lot of great things happening in Bonus Roll Productions. The theme for our show is Alex Moukala's Imagined Boss theme for Endwalker. Do check out his YouTube channel for more great music, and the link to it can be found in the show notes for this podcast. And of course, that music, any other derivatives of Final Fantasy XIV music you hear on this podcast belong to Square Enix. No copyright infringement is intended. With that all being said, for Meagan, for Brandon, for John, and as always for Butterscotch, this is Brian Black reminding you to let your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon?
You know, it's a funny thing that we were talking about Triple Triad so much in the show, because the other day I took Grahatia, of all people, to the Gold Saucer, and we had a lot of fun playing Triple Triad. We had some fun playing Lords of Dominion, but we kept missing all the limited time events. That boy just cannot get anywhere fast. We missed out on Air Force One, Slice is Right, Leap of Faith, all of them. Finally, we'd missed so many, in frustration, Graha just screamed, "Throw wide the gates."
How dare you?
That was a journey to get to that one. Let me tell you. Clip it and put it on the internet.
Take care, everybody.